Welcome to the Internet Anytime podcast. We're the National Information Society. What's up, Daniela?
Nothing much, just having a groovy day.
Sweet. Michael, how you doing?
Rocking.
All right. So you guys ready? We should just get right into it, right?
Let's get into it.
We got an election coming up in 2 weeks. Are you guys pumped for that?
I don't know if pumped is the right word.
Pumped is not the right word.
You already voted today, you said.
I did. I already voted. I sent it. Well, actually, yes, I sent it in today. So.
Gotcha.
I need it. I don't get a sticker because it was by mail, but it's here on my heart.
Well, don't the mail-in ballots come with a sticker?
They mailed me a sticker.
Yeah.
So they mail you a sticker afterwards?
No. It's with your ballot. You didn't look hard enough.
Yeah.
There should be a sticker in there.
I think I already threw away the envelope.
Maybe you got a wrong ballot.
Oh, no. It came with a sticker?
Yeah, they come with the I voted sticker.
Well, maybe that's just in California.
Oh, that's right. You got a Michigan ballot.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so you're not voting on like any of the props that we are or anything like that.
Not this time.
But your Michigan vote is like more important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They needed me, so I was there.
Yeah. Well, Trump needs all the votes he could get in Michigan.
He's not getting my vote.
Yeah.
So we got a couple props here on our ballot that I kind of want to talk about.
Which ones?
Yeah, we got Prop 22 on the ballot. That's the one that's like about the drivers staying as independent contractors.
Essentially,
Okay.
like the Uber related one, the Lyft one.
I've been seeing all those commercials, and one commercial will be like, oh no, I'm a mom and I have a kid with disability, vote no. And then the next one will be like, I'm an Uber driver and I can't work all the time, vote yes. And
What does the no one say?
Yeah, like the lady's like, I have a kid with disability and I need to be able to just drive when I want.
Why is that
I
no
don't-
on it? No, that's a yes one. There aren't any no commercials, actually.
There are no commercials because there was one I saw and it was like it was a driver, it was an Uber driver, and it was sponsored by Lyft, but it just said it at the bottom.
No, that's yes.
That's a yes one.
Oh,
Yes.
That's a yes
really?
one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the yes ones.
So that's why all you're seeing is these yes ones, because they put so much money into this yes campaign. They wrote the law.
Like $180 million that they more than that they put.
187 million they spent.
Jesus.
And no, they spent like 17 million or something.
I have seen some no's.
Gotcha.
Okay, but you're saying there's more yeses than no's.
Oh, because there's
they
more
have
money. They have more money.
That's understandable. I mean, they're a big company, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they wrote the law. They actually wrote the law.
That's not okay.
Yeah. So they wrote the law. They paid for it to be on the ballot, and then they are like saying, "Oh, it's going to benefit drivers," but they're the ones saying that.
So it's all like a little misleading, from their point of view.
That sounds very misleading.
Yeah.
Because people need health care. They need benefits.
Well, so they are offering some benefits, which the healthcare benefit didn't look bad. It's like if you work something like 25 hours a week, they'll pay, or 30 hours a week, they're going to pay like 100% of the California ACA subsidy. I don't know how much that means. So like healthcare is subsidized, Obamacare, depending on how much you make.
Okay.
And your employer like sort of chooses how much. Like we don't really know that because we're always working as independent contractors, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, so, and then if you have part-time, then they will like chip in. I mean, you're paying for your health care yourself anyway. It's just that it'll qualify you for subsidies. But there's still all kinds of other issues with it. Like they say they're going to pay you minimum wage, which they didn't have any kind of guarantee before. They say $3 above the minimum wage.
Okay.
You can work, but it's only while you're logged into the app and you've accepted a delivery or ride. And then once the delivery or drive is over, like meaning you've dropped off the passenger or you've dropped off the food, then you're off the clock at that point until you accept the next delivery.
Well, that's one of the main issues, because you're just idling.
And that happens a lot.
Monica.
Most of the time, sometimes as a driver, you're idling for, God knows how long before you get something.
Well, it's not even the idling time. So let's say like you start off your day and you're just waiting for that first one. But if I go like drive a delivery up to the Beeb's house or Kylie Jenner's, which is like far up there, and granted that's a good one because they'll tip you well, but then you have to drive all the way back down. You're not getting a delivery or a pickup up there in the middle of Calabasas or in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, that's true.
So at that point you log off, you have to drive all the way back down. And then while you're not on that clock, then you're not covered by their like insurance policy, like they have an injury.
Oh yeah, if there's an accident or something.
But you still have to do that.
Yeah, but you still have to drive home. But yeah, or when you're driving to your first delivery, right? Accidents happen in those two moments like the most, and so they're exempting themselves from those times. And basically it's just like a horrible corporate law. So I kind of have to vote no probably, which sucks because it may eradicate these services in California.
Well, that's what I wonder about it, because they talk about like Uber and all of them say that it's gonna they're gonna lose jobs here in California. I wonder how much. I assume that there's some truth to it, but I also kind of wonder how much is kind of like a threat on their part. You know what I mean? Like they're saying how much are they really going to lose jobs, and how much are they going to they're trying to say they're going to take away jobs in California.
Well, they canceled their service,
they had that
last month, and then a judge put a stay until this vote happens.
Really?
Yeah, it was, I can't remember the date, but there was a Friday, and it was like Lyft and Uber are done. You want to be able to order it here in California. And that may happen again. The problem is that there needs to be like some sort of, it can't be all one way or the other way. Like this law is totally 100% written by the corporations with like no real driver input. And it basically keeps everything the same for the drivers as it is now. You make them the same amount of money. You only have but they were already offering these same health insurance packets. Now they have to by law, but they were already available to us as drivers. Yeah.
So they're not doing, with what they're trying to do, they're not doing anything extra.
No. They say they are, and then there's other things that are messed up in it, which are that if you want to change the law in the future, make any alterations, both the state Senate and the House Assembly have to have a 7/8 majority.
That's what's crazy about it, because they're essentially asking, they'll be the only company that has that rule. You know what I mean? So like that's the worst part of it. Passes. If you want to make changes later, like if it doesn't work out, it's almost impossible to make any. Like they're kind of setting up for themselves in the future, so they don't have to change shit.
Right.
Like they have full control.
Up. But the thing is, too, it's some people out here who are like, "Oh my gosh, Lyft and Uber is how I get to work. So if I don't want to lose that service. Let me vote yes." And they're also threatening to increase the charge for Lyft and Uber. And they're like, I don't want to pay more. The drivers, I just don't want to pay more. That's
going to happen, right? Because they're going to end up, Uber and all of them, if it doesn't pass, they're going to need to up their prices, right? That's going to happen.
Well, they are
to cover their costs.
That's what they're saying.
Well, they're actually saying that they're going to cancel the service in this state most likely.
I have a hard time because it's too big of a market, right?
No, dude. They will just cancel it because the amount of time that they need to spend to alter their app, so their business model is as such, and they're not willing to change it,
I feel like that will be fine because somebody else will step into that vacuum.
Right.
There will be another service created that will step in and be like, okay, well, we're not going to make crazy amounts of money. Well, still will be crazy amounts of money. It's going to be a lot of money, but they're like, we're not going to make Uber and Lyft money, but we're going to treat our drivers.
And I can imagine that if it doesn't pass, that they're not going to fight it in court anyways.
Of course.
Right.
Still, yeah.
True. It's funny, some of the people coming out in favor of, or I'm sure they were given a lot of money by Uber and Lyft, is Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's funny. So the ad is it's keeping drunk drivers off the road because they're getting sober rides. And the critique of that is they could have made a commercial about how old people and disabled people, they need this service, not this other commercial that assumes that we as a public are just a bunch of drunks who like can't ever drive ourselves or get our own food. You know what I mean? Like we're just this wastoid population, which I thought was a funny interpretation, but it's kind of true.
Yeah. Because there's other services for, elderly and disabled people. There's services specifically for them. But 3 a.m. Ubers.
Yeah. And another thing for the Uber and delivery drivers is through this Prop 22, they still wouldn't qualify for unemployment insurance. So like just like now when the pandemic hit, it's like no unemployment for you. If they like shut down all the restaurants or whatever, told you some stuff like that, then these people just can't qualify for unemployment. Too bad.
And didn't all this happen because California essentially like they made a new labor law and like those ride services just ignored it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They just ignored it.
They fought it as soon as it was supposed to go into place. They went to court.
Yes, that too. AB 5.
They're like, we don't care about the drivers. We want to make our money.
Yep, and they're not transparent with their earnings. And another thing that they add in this 22 or whatever is that they're offering that they'll pay drivers 30 cents a mile while they're engaged, and that's supposed to cover your like gas and vehicle expenses.
30 cents a mile in California.
Plus like your insurance when you are one of these drivers, if you tell your insurance company, skyrockets like by a lot. I think it's by like 50% even, which for drivers is like nothing. I kind of made that number up right now, but I just guess in LA car insurance is very high.
When I did Postmates, I got an offender bender when I was leaving to work one day, and that's one of the first things. Like when I got a hold of my insurance, that's what they asked me: do I use my card for Uber, Postmates, or anything like that? And I immediately said no.
Say no,
because I knew it was just gonna.
That would not help you in the least bit.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well then this is not covered.
Exactly.
You did not tell us beforehand.
Well, and it wasn't. I wasn't working at the time. You know what I mean? But, yeah. Screw that.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I am going to go down with a no on 22, and I regret doing that. But I feel like I have to. What are you going to do? Are you deciding?
No. I've decided because I just don't trust. It's the fact that they put so much money into it, and it's pretty much. It's a situation where they're kind of just they're trying to regulate themselves, and big corporations and big companies, they can't regulate themselves. I don't trust them to regulate themselves because they're gonna kind of cut corners when they can, if they can. Somebody needs to watch these big corporations.
Right.
And the tech industry, they try to take it. There's a new industry that's really trying to take advantage of that. So I don't trust them. So I gotta vote against them.
Vote no.
Yeah.
Vote no. It's the right way to go.
Yeah.
Another more simple proposition that we have is Prop 17, which is giving people the right to vote. Like right now in the state of California, if you're on parole or have a felony or are in prison, you don't get to vote. But in some states, like you can vote even if you're in jail and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But here it would change it just if you're on parole, you can still vote, which you can't right now. And then the felony. Yeah,
because the way it used to be, you had to be completely off the court system, so you couldn't be in jail. Mm-hmm. You couldn't be on parole or probation, maybe probation, but essentially, if you were still under the guidance or the watch of the court system, you weren't allowed to vote until you were completely off of that.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that. I thought if you're on parole, you could still vote.
No, that's the way it is right now. If you're on parole.
No, if you're on parole right now, you can't vote.
You can't vote
in California.
That's
I don't
not
know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. It seems like it's not okay.
And that's a lot of people.
Yes.
Probation, I think you can still vote. Shoot, I'm not 100% on.
No, you can't.
Probation or parole, either of the two.
Or no, maybe it is probation.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, you're right. Because parole is just when you've been, Wait, so.
Parole, you have to report to the parole office. You have a parole officer. You have to deal with all of that. Probation, there's different types of probation. There's formal and informal. And informal is essentially, you just don't get in trouble again. Okay. You know what I mean? They trust you. You don't have to report to anybody. You just don't break any more laws.
As long as you don't do anything else, you're not going to go to jail. You're good.
Yeah.
So it is for parolees.
Yeah. Wow. So people are released from jail.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, most people are clearly for it, but I mean, they say that civic engagement leads to.
Yeah, it helps people out too, because if they're able to participate, in society, it makes them feel better. It makes them feel like they're doing something. I mean, it couldn't hurt,
You don't want to ostracize people even more. Like, okay, you're back in public, but you're not really one of us. That's what it is like now. But yeah, give them more.
And it's a form of suppression, I think, voter suppression.
Right, like why not do it,
Yeah.
What are they trying to, what are their reasons, you think?
Yeah.
It's where most of the people that are in prison right now.
You know who it is.
We already know.
It's the poor and it's minorities.
There we go. And
those
who are they going to vote for?
Usually, I mean, the trend tends to be they tend to vote more liberal. But I mean, we're liberal. Well, no, there's a lot of. I mean, my home area. We got Kevin McCarthy. He's like
That's who represents Tulare County.
No. He represents Bakersfield.
You have Devin Nunes.
Devin Nunes represents Tulare County, parts of Tulare County. He's actually, my hometown is actually outside of his district.
It is. The district there is also shaped a little weird. I was sort of looking at it, right? They kind of bend around one of the cities.
So he parts of Tulare County. So he's got Visalia, I believe, Tulare, and then like Porterville. My hometown is just outside of it. So he's not our representative, thank God. Kind of wish he was though, because then my folks and my sister could vote him out. The last time I was there, I saw like a bunch of signs for him.
Yeah, because you're in Republic. I mean, that's why he's your representative.
Yeah,
it's red.
It's red. It's. I just saw a tweet today. Someone was talking about people don't realize like California, like outside of they just think it's blue, but outside of LA and like San Francisco, pretty much the rest of the state is Texas.
Well, I mean,
that's the way they worded it.
That's the way it looks. But if you look on the map, there's actually there are a few red representatives of the 54 that we have.
Yeah, there's
only a handful.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Most of them are Democrat.
But like Tulare County, like I think every presidential race in the past 10 years, past maybe 6 elections up to Clinton, I think have all gone to like Republican president candidates. Like Tulare County went to Trump last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you know who your representative is down in Inglewood, even though you didn't vote down there? You don't even know who it is. It's Maxine Waters.
Oh, I thought she was just for LA.
No, she's like pretty much Inglewood.
She's like a local celebrity in Inglewood. Every time, everyone's like, Maxine! We went to a parade and she was out, and you would have thought that she was like, I don't know, a Kardashian. Everyone was like, Maxine, hey girl! And she was shaking hands, and I was like, oh, let me research Maxine Waters, because everyone loves her.
I mean, I can imagine. She stretches down, so she's got Inglewood down, part of Torrance, and I don't think she gets all... Well, she might be Long Beach, too, and kind of gets all the way to the water there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if I look on a map. She has somebody running against her, though. An African-American man representing the Republicans, like an ex-Marine.
Yeah,
Marine. What's his name?
He's not going to get it, because everyone loves Maxine
Yeah,
Waters.
she's too much of a badass.
And then she does good things for the people, and she actually gets out and talks to people. Like so many of these people, you don't even see them until they're like, okay, the election's next week. Hi, guys.
Right.
I'm your friend.
This Joe Collins guy, he seems like not the worst. I mean, the worst thing coming out of his mouth I saw was that he is calling Maxine Waters like a socialist or something. I don't know. It's just funny, but he has a 5-point plan for your neighborhood, which is not bad. He wants to rebuild a district together, make sure every child gets the education they deserve, bring high-paying jobs to the district, promote financial literacy, and to end homelessness.
Everyone says nice things.
That's what I was going to say.
It's not true. I'll show you this other guy. He doesn't say anything.
Oh, no.
This guy at least says something. And he's like, I have these. And they're sort of like, is he a Republican? I mean, this sounds kind of lefty to me.
Oh, he's a...
yeah, well, he's running against Maxine. Yeah, he's Republican.
He lost us already. That's all we needed to know.
yeah, there's no way he's gonna win. But he doesn't seem like a horrible person.
He doesn't seem, but it's kind of like when candidates are running, they're kind of like Miss America. I want to feed the children and stop world wars, and I would like world peace for everyone. And then they get in and they're like, we're not feeding those poor people. We need to kick them out of our district.
I think it's more important to find out how they plan on doing these things, not just what they're going to do.
There we go. So they'll be like, yeah, we want to feed the children, but how and with what money? What programs are you trying to start? They're like, well, we're going to get the people and we're going to do some things and we're going to be positive.
God, I wouldn't want to be a politician.
I wouldn't either. It's too much pressure.
It doesn't sound like you actually really do anything. Like, other people do all the work and you're just the face of this thing, like spouting off sentences that other people sort of planned for you to say. And then you see this, like, I haven't watched it, but there's this movie called The Swamp or something. And it follows around like a few Republican House of Representatives dudes. But what it really shows is how much these guys are just really, and all of them are doing this, the Democrats too, are just constantly on the phone with donors trying to raise money for their campaigns. Wow. And these House of Representative people are like in these 2-year cycles. They have elections every 2 years. All of the seats do. So they're just constantly working on re-election. And literally there's like a room at the Capitol with phones, and these like by their staff are told like, you got to go in there and make phone calls for 5 hours today.
Yeah, they have like they just budgeted into their time that they have to go in there, and they pretty much cold calling or whatever, calling whoever they need to get donations.
Yeah, people have donated in the past, or grandma or whoever.
And that's how like a lot of candidates are chosen based on like what kind of name they have and what kind of money they bring in. Like I've heard this thing, like when there's like a new possible someone they're looking at to kind of bring up to be elected in some kind of representation kind of office. They actually look at their phone and they look at their contacts, because they want to know who they could reach out to, like who they could bring in money.
It's all about money.
Yeah, the system's just broken, right?
What if they had term limits, though? If they had the term limit, so instead of 2 years, maybe 4 years, and then, okay, try to do everything you can in these 4 years, because this is all you got.
Yeah,
that's what I think that the Senate should be like. That
I do
the Senate should be. They could just, as long as they don't get voted out, they can stay forever. That's how you end up with like Mitch McConnell and shit.
They stay forever, and they're so disconnected from what their constituents want. They never go back home. They don't go. They live in Washington. They don't know what's happening in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, look at Dianne Feinstein. How old is she now? She's like 90. 89, I think.
I heard she can't barely even function, is having her staffers do everything, she gets walked to her seat. They just sit her down. I had heard that. I haven't seen actual evidence. But
I think a lot of those older politicians too, that they still have the old school mentality. They still think politicians are the way back when they were coming up, not realizing that things have changed.
Society was different 50 years ago.
Or Adam Schiff, our congressman who represents us here, right? So he's in charge of the Judiciary Committee, I think, or something. But it's what he was spending all his time investigating Trump, which I don't disagree with. But what's that specifically doing for our district right here? You know what I mean? I mean, yes, he has an important job, and he, somebody has to do it. But it's sort of he definitely was spending all his time doing that. I didn't,
But what about your constituents? What are you doing for us now?
Adam Schiff is our congressman. Have you seen who's running against Adam Schiff?
No.
So there's a Republican challenger named Eric Early, and I'm a little tempted to vote for him. Can I mean,
why?
So here, let me tell you why.
Oh.
Here, let me just read something from his page, and I have to say that Adam Schiff, he doesn't have anything this cool. So okay, Eric's career as an attorney did not follow the usual path. He attended New York University's undergraduate film school and then held various positions, including producing videos for Hasbro toys, including short children's films for the Great Space Coaster, working as post-production supervisor of hundreds of animated episodes of the Transformers, G.I. Joe, Jem and the Holograms, My Little Pony, and writing several animated episodes of G.I. Joe and Jem and the Holograms. At one point, he produced trailers for King of the Bee movies. Roger Corman. I didn't look
Roger Corman. I know Roger Corman.
Roger Corman? Really?
Yeah. Roger Corman was his B movie. He's a director. Do you remember? So remember the Fantastic. He just did a bunch of B movies, like low budget, but he's actually pretty good at some of them. They're
Name
like
two.
Fantastic Four, which actually wasn't released. It was like back in like the 90s. So this company owned the Fantastic Four franchise, and in order to keep the trademark, because the trademark was going to be expiring, in order to keep it, they had to film a movie. So at the last minute, they just kind of, not that much money, they got Roger Corman, they wanted somebody to film it quickly and cheaply. And so they did it, and they never released it because that wasn't the point. The point wasn't to release it. The point was just to
make the movie.
Keep the rights.
Okay.
And like if you can find it online, you know what I mean.
Is it good?
Have you
Who
seen
was
it?
in it?
I've seen it, but I saw it a long time ago. A bunch of like B movie actors, but the thing actually looks pretty decent.
That would be so.
And it's definitely better than the last Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, the one with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
I would be so mad if like you spent all that time making this movie and like no one gets to see it. But I guess you still get paid. But still, what if this was your one claim?
The worst part about it for like the actors and stuff, because everybody that was essentially a part of it, except for the producers, the people that put up the money or owned it, they all assumed that the movie was going to come out and it was like the real deal. So they,
So you said you've seen it, but you said a long time ago, so your memory's a little shaky.
Yeah, my memory's a little shaky.
I remember reading about that. I would love to check that out. I bet it's real cheesy.
Yeah, what I remember, it was really cheesy.
So this guy's friends with him, apparently. That's I mean, come on.
Eric Early.
Yes, and he's definitely.
Oh, Roger Corman did Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The original?
Hold on, let me see.
The remake
was
never released?
No, this was back in 1960. So,
when did the original come out?
1960. Oh, the original, yeah, 1960. I was thinking about the one with Steve Martin, and what's the guy with glasses that got knocked out in New York?
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis. I was thinking of that one. You never seen that one? That's a good one.
I've only seen one version of Little Shop of Horrors, and it's like in black and white.
Oh, that's the Roger Corman one then.
Feed me, Seymour.
That's the Roger Corman one.
Okay, so I've seen something he's done.
Yeah. Oh, Jack Nicholson was in that? I didn't know that.
He was in Little Shop of Horrors?
Yes, he was.
When he was young and sexy.
Oh, he's not young and sexy. Oh, he's not young, but he's not sexy anymore.
He's pretty geriatric now. I mean, maybe 10 years ago he was old and sexy, you know what I mean? But right now, I don't know if you've seen him super recent, but he's aged quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like in his 80s, right?
It's gotta be.
How old's Jack Nicholson? You got this one or me?
I got it right here.
Okay.
He was born in 1937. He's 83.
1937?
Yeah.
83.
Wow. Yeah, he's just a little bit older than my grandma.
He's a little bit. My grandma said she just turned 80 this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Wow, your grandparents are young compared to mine. My grandmother was born, I think, in 1923, and my grandfather in 1919.
My grandmother.
Those two.
Yeah, my grandmother was born in 1933.
And my one grandfather, who I'm named after, was born in 1901.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He was old. He was 47 when he had my dad.
Wow.
Well, your parents are like what? Like your dad's like was mid 70s?
Yeah,
70s?
my dad's 70. He was born in 1948, so he's 72 this
Oh, so
year.
he's 2 years older than my dad.
Your dad's 70.
Yeah,
and
he
my
was born
mom's
in
67.
50. Yeah, my mom's 3 years younger than my dad. So what? 57. Yeah, I did
67. Wait.
Oh no, 53.
53. Yeah.
Sorry, I did the math backwards.
So my mom and your mom are born the same year.
What's her birthday?
My mom is July 2nd.
Oh, my mom's May. Never mind. I was hoping they had the same birthday.
But still, that's close.
Yeah, yeah.
They're born very close.
Yeah.
Well, me and you are born 10 months apart.
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah. And you are born like 1 million moons apart from us, Daniela. Many moons.
But we're like spiritually close.
Spiritually close, yeah.
There we go.
So are you an old spirit, or are we just like young, immature?
I'm an old soul. I think that all the
Too,
time.
for sure. Well, people call you like an old lady to make fun of you because you
It's
say.
so not okay. Okay, just because I use some terminology that's from pre-millennial age, that does not make me an old lady. Classic.
You kick the camera, adjust the lights a little
Oh,
bit.
thank you, love. There we go.
Nice. Very good.
So I want to tell you guys about Jeffrey Tubin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jeffrey Tubin.
He's a
So-
CNN anchor.
Yeah, and
Is
he's,
he Tubin?
I don't know what he is.
He's
But
he's
he's-
African American.
Oh.
mixed
But
with
you
white.
see him on all those like those panels and stuff like that. He's like an ex-lawyer.
This is him right here.
Oh,
You
okay.
kind of recognize him.
Yes.
And
He's
just
kind of racially ambiguous.
Yeah, I think he does identify as black though, because I remember him as just.
oh, is he biracial?
He has a trustworthy.
I'm pretty sure.
He's
I
like-
Oh,
could
okay,
be wrong
okay,
about that.
okay. Hold on. You say he has a trustworthy face, but let me just tell you what happened.
Oh no.
Is this some Me Too stuff?
Oh.
Pretty much.
He was already.
He was sketch.
Oh, now I'm kind of seeing it. He was. I feel like he had already had some kind of hot water a few years ago, but then it was kind of put under the rug because it wasn't as intense as some of the other stuff that was coming out.
So he was suspended by the New Yorker. They had a meeting, a Zoom meeting, a Zoom call, because they were going to get ready for like their election, like their, I don't know. They had a meeting to do something with that, and he was part of the setup. And apparently, there's like the who's who of the New Yorker that was in this meeting. And Vice reported that he was suspended because he exposed himself on camera, like they caught him.
On the
Like-
Zoom meeting?
On the Zoom meeting, and at first they made it sound like it was an accident, like one of those things, like maybe because he was doing the Zoom call and maybe he just didn't have pants on. And like to me, at first when I read it, it sounded like it was just a mistake. Like he said he apologized, he didn't mean to.
Right, but he did it on purpose.
But why
Well,
are you
maybe
having a meeting
you
with
know-
no pants on?
Well, Vice, they corrected the report to update it, and the update says that he was actually suspended because he was caught masturbating on the Zoom meeting.
No!
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
I would sue. If I worked for the New Yorker and that was happening on my Zoom meeting call, I would sue.
Hey, Jacob, keep your hands up, just so we're all safe.
I'm
So-
asking for all Zoom calls from now on.
Are they saying? Well, are they saying that like he didn't think he was? Are they saying that it was like on purpose in a way at all? Or are they
I
saying
don't.
it's an accident?
It sounds like I think he was trying to get away with something,
I feel like
and they just kind of. I think it was like obvious to other viewers.
Oh, I see. Like he was sitting there on the Zoom call and being like, "Yeah, everything's good," and being like, "Ooh," and then people are like, "What are you doing?"
I believe
what's
so.
that sound?
Or like we can see your fucking
Your
thing tug in the
arm.
mirror or something, right?
Oh,
Or like he's like got a thing of lotion right there, and he's like, and he got like tissues.
that's so messed up. And then to be the person that's like, "Do you need a minute, Jeffrey? Like, can you like cut your camera off at least? Like,
I know, man.
like your sound is on. Your sound
That's
is
the
on,
thing.
Jeffrey."
You go mute yourself and you go cut your camera feed, and you can still see everyone else.
But it's like, like flashers. They get off on people not
Yeah,
knowing.
that might have been a part of it.
Okay, though.
They don't want
the
your-
Russian maybe getting caught,
Yes.
and it went too far.
They don't want your consent. They want you to not be a part of it, and that's their
Oh,
fault.
that's embarrassing, man.
That's gross.
I have one more theory, and I think it's a mix of all of these.
Okay.
So like lately, I've had this problem from watching porn, where like just
Oh, I
by
thought you were
opening
saying-
my laptop, I like get horny or whatever.
What?
Or like, or also like if just any female comes on my laptop screen, I'm like, ooh, and I'm like, wait, this is like a Geico commercial or something.
Opening your laptop is your Pavlov's dog.
Yeah, exactly. So like he opened his laptop, he's getting ready for a Zoom thing, he starts feeling it because that's he's conditioned himself to like, and he can't help it,
Oh no, I'm not doing any more Zoom calls with you, Jacob. Oh no, keep your hands by your shoulders.
Can I get a tissue?
All hands must be right here at all times.
Yeah, that's how. Anytime you have like a Zoom call
No,
Tinder
you
date
do
or
like
something.
what you do is that you prank it. So like the shirt, this long sleeve shirt, you would just I would wear it like over my shoulders.
The fact that he already had a plan for this.
It just came to me. It just came to me right now.
Did it now.
So I would wear it over my shoulders, and then I would stuff the arms and just have them like crossed over, so it looks like my arms are crossed the whole entire time while my arms are free.
That looks not cool.
Well, I would make it better than this.
You just be like, oh yes, I don't have arms. Don't worry about it, girl.
You know what? I would have masturbated on Zoom, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Everyone says that until they're doing a tubing.
Until they're tubing, they're tubing.
Lubing, they're tubing.
Lubing, they're
Lubing, they're
tubing.
tubing.
Lubing, the tubing. Ew, you guys.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He had a trustworthy face, I thought.
I did too. I used to like him.
Very wrong.
Yeah, but there's all right. Didn't you think that
never
about
know.
Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer?
Well, Matt Lauer was likable. Harvey Weinstein, I had no opinion of him other than like he just was. No offense to like people that look like him, but he was gross looking.
He was gross looking. I mean, I guess he still is gross looking, but yeah, no. But Matt Lauer, that really surprised
He fooled me.
The whole the button under his desk, that was just so
I actually heard
creepy.
that's kind of a common thing though. Like it's a
Really?
lot of like people like high, you know, like because when they're trying to get work done and you know they just close the door and they lock it. You know,
People can't interrupt, and also too, getting up to lock your door is
A chore.
A chore. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're just whatever. They have money, so they get what they want.
Right.
I think like that original button thing, the intention, or the initial like reason or the
intention behind
the
invention.
intention behind it wasn't for that. But
Right. That was just like a bonus feature of it.
oh, I shouldn't laugh.
Yeah, I don't think that was it. But yeah, it took a turn.
So Saturday night, you guys enjoyed
BTS. So I was before you came here. Jacob was actually listening to a little bit of it,
How'd you like it?
and I asked him if he can name them all. And he said no, and then he said, "Well, can you name them all?" And I said yes.
Okay.
It was
And
interesting. The first time he went through it, though, he named 8. He made up an extra one, like just some Korean word.
The thing is, some of them go. Okay, so
I think
they
he heard-
also go by their given names as
Yeah.
well, so that can confuse some people.
Well, hey, I was impressed. I mean,
I was really proud because he called me on my shit. What did I say? Can you name them? And he said, "Well, can you name them?" And then I said yes, and then he asked me to name them, and I was able to name them.
All right, let's see
Okay,
it.
let's
All
do
right,
it.
okay. Jungkook, V, Suga, RM, Jin, Jimin, and J-Hope.
Boom. You nailed it.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. You don't even know. You gotta think
No,
about
I think she lost track on her fingers.
So for me, I do it in the form of their fan chant, which is Kim Seok-jin, Min Yoongi, Jung Ho-seok, Park Jin-min, Kim Tae-young, Jung Jung-kook, Park Jin-min, BTS.
See, that's hardcore, not because she like knows her like the real Korean
Oh
names.
yeah. So it's Jin, Sugar, V, RM, Jimin, J-Hope, and Jungkook.
Yeah, Jungkook I think is my favorite, by the way.
He's so nice, and he's the youngest.
He is. So something I found interesting about them doing my research on BTS, I didn't realize that it's been the same 7 people for 7 years.
Yeah.
Since 2013. I thought they were one of those groups that's like constantly replacing
Like
the
Menudo?
members. Yeah, which is a lot of those K-pop groups are like that,
They
right?
do. They do. Some
Yeah,
of them have like terms where like once you get to a certain age, you like
Age out.
you graduate. They
That's how
say.
Menudo was.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which is like, that's so whack, but because your fan base gets attached to these people, and BTS is not like that. Like the oldest person, Jen, he's 29, and they're not kicking out any members. We're not getting any new members.
That's old.
It's
Yeah.
not. But the thing is, their fan base has grown with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not, criticizing their business model or anything.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
I read, so the previous to this new concert that you guys saw, I guess their last streaming one set the world record for like how many people watched the live stream at once, and it was
Wow,
it was
really?
750,000 people.
Yes,
was their last
yes.
one. I bet this one was even
This
more.
one was just under 1 million. It was like 995.
Both days?
Yeah, it was 995,000 people.
Oh wait, so yeah, because they did. I mean, it depended on the time zone you were in, right? So you guys were Saturday midnight West Coast time. Was that the second concert or the first?
That was the
one?
second concert.
Okay.
Yeah, because the first one was 3 a.m. Saturday morning Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, apparently she like stayed up the night before
Yes.
watching the 3 a.m. one.
Oh, you watched both?
I watched
Yeah.
both.
How much was it?
It was $80.
For both of them, or for
both.
Okay.
Is that the only way you could do it? You just get both?
No,
or?
I just knew I wanted to see both.
So it was like $40 each?
If you only got one, I think it was like $50 just for one.
Oh, so you get the discount if you get the two.
Exactly.
Okay.
You get a discount for two, and then they did do different things each night.
So there was an incentive to buy two.
There was, and then like they gave you $10 of Weverse cash if you were an Army member and you got both.
And you're an Army member.
I'm an Army member.
Obviously.
Of course.
And okay. And what did you watch it on?
My TV. We're gonna get you to join the Army.
Okay.
Just wait. We watch it on my TV. It's like, I think it's a little.
Do you get to access the concert any other time, or was it like you had to watch it live?
So that's one thing about this concert. So I did the Bang Bang Con concert that you said was 700 and something thousand people. I did that one, and that one you get to watch on demand. But they said this one you buy it, and it does not include on demand.
Oh, so it was a one-time deal.
One-time
thing. Thank you for letting me come over.
I'm happy to.
Oh, and he didn't need to chip in or anything. That's nice.
Oh yeah, I will be expecting my Venmo. My Venmo.
I did. This is the reason why I didn't ask her how much it was at the time.
I will take that Venmo. It'll be $20. I can use that for gas.
To buy yourself a new
Army bomb.
Army bomb.
You gotta get your own Army bomb for the next one.
I'm not surprised at I think the price is high. I'm not surprised at it, but it is a little high. Like I'm kind of like, wow,
it's
$50.
It's like a pay-per-view event. Like people pay for that for like MMA and shit.
Because they pay like $100 to watch a fight.
Yeah, some boxing matches are really pricey.
They are.
And you got both nights for that price.
You got both nights, and then like you could stream on two devices. So if you were at home and you wanted to watch two, we could have had you log in and you could have watched.
Oh, that's cool. So I remember when I was a kid. So old I am. New Kids on the Block was the thing, and they used to have pay-per-view concerts.
Did they?
Yes. The reason I know this because my sister was a huge fan. Joey McIntyre was her favorite.
Okay.
She had like she was like around 6th grade, 7th grade at the time, and I was like 3 years younger than that. And she had everything. She had posters. She had like a New Kids on the Block like bedspread and pillow sheets. She even had like when she went to like this camp, she brought like a New Kids on the Block sleeping bag.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, my parents used to get her the New Kids on the Block like concerts on pay-per-view, and like her friend Nicole, I think that was her name, used to come over, and they used to have like sleepovers just to watch it in KOTB concerts.
Nice.
I don't know how much they charged back then, but yeah.
And your parents paid that for her? They were like,
that was
begged.
like, yeah.
Jeez. Okay, amazing. I would love to see one of those.
Yeah, and it's still cheaper than a concert ticket. Because I think the cheapest concert ticket that they had for the Rose Bowl was like $95, and that was before taxes.
And they sold that shit out, right? And did
45 minutes.
Fuck.
Floor seats sold out in freaking 10 minutes. Not the floor seats, but like the ones that had the special packages. So you could get a special package that includes like VIP treatment. It came with like a goodie bag, like you got like special lanyard, and you also got to stay. We'll come early and watch sound check.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, that'd be cool.
But there's also like 50,000 people there for sound checks. So it's like just
No. So it was very limited.
Like how much are those things? Like $2,000?
It's about like maybe like
more, maybe
like $600. So
that's not bad considering what you get.
But yeah, it's such a great deal because like it's like maybe like 1,000 people, if that, watching the sound check, and you get to be like pretty close. You get to be pretty close, and you're there before everyone else, and you're interacting with them, and they can clearly see you because you're right there.
Right.
I would throw my panties at them.
They sold out in like 10 minutes. So even if you did want to pay that, it's not even an option. And then they were reselling those tickets for like $3,500.
Damn. Jeez. Oh yeah, scalpers.
My mom was like, you should sell your ticket. And I was like, Mom, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm gonna keep my ticket.
Oh, I would have sold that shit so quick.
But even like my one day I didn't have like the package, but even that ticket, it was selling for like $1,900.
That's the thing though, like a lot of events now, it's all a whole resale market. And then like the venues that sell the tickets, they're in on that shit. Like doesn't Ticketmaster own like StubHub or something like that, or one of those resale It's all a scam.
Oh yeah, Ticketmaster, they have their own little resale side hustle, and then everyone, even like the individual people who are saying they're reselling, everyone has like a sob story, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize my best friend bought me a ticket, so now I have this extra floor seat. I'm not selling it for ticket price, I'm just gonna sell it for a little bit over. I bought it for like $400, I'm gonna sell it for $9. Like, oh, okay, you didn't just buy this and try to sell it.
Why even tell the story, at that point? Just like put up the ticket.
Yeah.
And then some people, they're like, I'm just going to take the highest offer. The highest offer is going to get it.
Sob stories like that sound like fake tickets.
It sounds fake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because once you Venmo someone, you can't get that back.
Yeah, I've had people, I guess now everything's like sort of digital, but I have had friends who like bought tickets off Craigslist or like a resale site, and they were handed like a piece of paper with a barcode, printed out,
yeah.
They go to the venue and it's like, it's not scanning, it's like, oh, this isn't real, and they just spent like $100.
Dang, I'd be so mad.
Oh man.
I'd be so mad. Now, one girl, while I was in line for one BTS event in like January, one girl said that her friend figured out a way to like hack it, and she made a fake ticket for their Jingle Ball concert, and she got on the floor seat. She's like, she saw the real people come, and they were like, that's her seat, and they're like, oh no, you guys must have fake tickets. But she was the one that had the fake ticket.
How does she?
Oh, she totally like switched it on them. What a jerk.
Yeah,
How did that fake ticket work?
She said her friend found a way to like,
Oh.
I don't know. She wasn't telling me the process. But I'm like, wow, but that's such a jerk move, because those people paid, those Jingle Ball tickets it was $1,200 even if you bought it from like Ticketmaster for one of those up close seats.
Dang. So which concert was better, the first one or the second, or you like them equally?
I really liked the first one because I hadn't seen anything yet, and Jungkook was wearing these black leather pants, and Jimin did this dance to the song called Filter in like this red satin outfit. You saw the outfit. It was a purple outfit for the one I watched with Michael, but he looks good in red. But both of them were really good.
Nice. That's awesome. So you're like satisfied?
I was satisfied. I mean, for an at-home concert, I can't complain. Of course, it's not like, at the stadium and you're like, yeah.
Of course not.
I told you too, it was kind of cool because they gave her like a bunch of different camera angles. Like she could pick.
Yeah.
Right, you could pick.
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Yeah, well, I didn't just like click on one, but it was just like, this one is like a close-up of one guy, this one's a close-up of this one's wide, and then it had like the main camera was like bigger. But it was good because it's like, okay, the main camera might be showing like two of the guys, but over here I'm getting a close-up of Jimin, so it's like,
I suppose it depends on what you're watching it on too. Like if you have a big TV,
yeah,
because you can see more of the smaller screens at once. Or did you think maybe to like watch it on two different devices at once? Or that would have been maybe too much?
That would have been too much.
It's already pretty intense.
Because you can only see one thing at a time.
I think she'd be willing to do it.
No, because I can't see.
You're hardcore. She was wearing like this goddamn BTS like hoodie with like their faces plastered all over it.
It's my BTS hoodie.
Yeah, she bedazzled her army bomb, which is like this light thing that you connect with Bluetooth, so it would light up during the show.
Oh, cool.
It's really cool.
Amazing.
So the thing is, these army bombs, it's like you gotta get one if you're like really hardcore into it. If you don't have your army bomb, especially if you go to the concerts, you don't want to be the one girl that doesn't have a light stick. And then too, like they sell out, so you gotta get one as soon as it goes on sale. And it's not like they're $10 or like $50 plus like shipping. So they got a good racket going. And then like everyone decorates their army bombs, and it's like, oh, you're not hardcore, your army bomb is just like standard, you didn't paint it, you didn't like decorate it, it's just stock. It's a lot of pressure being in the army.
Gotcha.
But it's still fun.
So you gotta like sticker that's like more money too that you gotta spend on your.
No, I mean you can go join Fabrics and get.
Okay, you can do whatever.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
You don't need to get like specific BTS like stickers on there.
No.
Like Girl Scout patches.
They should do that. They should do like exclusive BTS accessories for your army bomb.
They have BTS accessories already, but it's just like young girls. They're doing their whole room. it's BTS.
I was wandering the neighborhood here, and I went into one of the Korean malls or whatever. There's like a couple of shopping malls, and one of them has just a BTS store.
So, are you talking about H Market?
No.
Okay, so H Market, that's what I was telling you about. Like, there was one time I was there. So my sister goes to the salon there, or she did before the COVID stuff. And yeah, it's like a Korean market. It's like different shops. It's outdoors.
Maybe it is the same place.
Okay, and there was like
There's like 4 of them though that are all that.
There probably is, but it was like a music. It was like a music store, but they sold like exclusive BTS stuff.
Wow.
And I saw like a bunch of like that day when we went. I just saw all these little white girls walking around the place with BTS shirts. I was like, what's going on? Like I thought they were there, but it was because they were waiting for that store to open up because they were all purchasing something. I don't know what.
They must have some deal.
Yeah.
They are very smart because they're releasing content and products like constantly. Like they just released a DVD with behind the scenes footage for their concert last year at Wembley, and before that they released like Japanese content. Always something to watch, always something to buy, and now they have a CD coming out in November. So it's like...
Didn't this other record just come out? This new one?
Well, Dynamite was just a single. They haven't released an album since February.
Well, still 2 albums in a year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just what they do.
Dang. Okay. How old's the youngest one? You said the oldest one's 29?
22.
23.
Oh, I thought he was 23 now.
And then it's kind of confusing to remember the ages. But he just had a birthday in September. But yeah, so it's kind of hard because they have their Korean age and then it's like their real world age. So in Korea, yes. So in Korea, when you are born, you age with the year. So if you are born in December and then there's a new year, you are 1. Even though your birthday isn't until the following December, you are already 1.
Okay.
So from December, so once January hits, I'm 1 year old.
Yes, you're 1.
So the new calendar year, it just uses automatically.
Everybody turns
Yes.
Everybody turns 1 on the same day.
Exactly.
Okay.
Everyone ages up. So you might not actually be 1 year old yet, but you're 1 now.
You just say you're 1.
And then even though you're finally turning 1 in December, 1 month later, you're 2.
I wonder how much like BTS stuff like that and Blackpink and all those K-pops like these they have a lot of fans, and I'm kind of curious like how much these fans kind of get turned on to like Korean culture because of that.
I say I definitely have been more turned on to Korean culture.
Like I know your
It's
dad likes
cool.
Korean
I like-
culture. He likes those shows on Netflix.
Yeah, my
Man.
dad. They binge it.
So I got into Korean dramas even before I was into BTS because I was going to Thailand and I was like, let me watch some Thai dramas so I can like become familiarized with the language. And once I got into the Thai dramas, somebody put me onto K-dramas and then
It was over.
I was
The Korean
sold.
ones are supposed to be the best ones. So my parents
They
watch them
are.
all. They watch Chinese ones, and they watch Thai ones, and they watch Korean ones. And I think those are the big 3. And I think there's some Japanese too.
There
But
are.
yeah, but the Korean ones supposedly have like the best acting, the best production value, and stuff like this.
And they're churning out new ones constantly. Like the shows run for like 3 months and then that's it. And then these good quality actors go on to another drama.
But so I guess they kind of have like formulas for these actors. So they're trained all in the same schools. So if like an actor is told to act sad, you will see multiple actors like
The
doing the
same
exact
way.
same thing. Like they'll put their hand on the table the same way and like sulk the same way. And then that transfers onto every show. Like, oh, this person knows act sad or whatever. And it was something my dad noticed because he would watch like 2,000 hours of it in a row and then be like, wait a minute, this, and then he did some research on it, and that's the actual
interesting.
I'm
Like it's
gonna pay
standardized.
standardized acting, yeah, rather than like being individual. It's like this is sadness, this is happy, these are these emotions, you all do it the same. And I bet they line them up and they have to kind of do it the same.
Yeah, it or like he passed a test or something.
Yep. Whereas we're encouraged to be very like ourselves, you know, and
To bring your own self into the performance.
right, you know, and then make us believe that way. This is like, no, this is what it is, and you are like molding yourself to define it.
I have to look out for that, but I do still say that they do bring themselves into the performance because
They are good actors. I mean, I've watched it too, and of course, you know, there's different things, but I think if you do watch it enough, you'll see sort of some of these patterns.
I look out for the patterns now because I do watch enough. I should be picking up on.
What's a show that you really like?
Oh, I recently watched this one. It's called It's Okay to Not Be Okay. And it's on Netflix. It's really good. It's about this boy, and he is taking care of his special needs brother. His brother is autistic, and his mother was killed when he was like 12 years old. So ever since then, he's been taking care of his brother. And it's not okay for him to like show his feelings, that he's not happy and that he's not okay and that he's angry, because that sets his brother off. And he has to always be like, it's okay. Like he's always trying to calm down his brother so he can't take care of himself. And in walks this girl into his life where she's kind of chaotic and she's got a lot going on, and she starts taking care of him and telling him, aren't you tired of not living your life? Like, let's live life together. And it's a beautiful story. You guys should check it out.
All right.
Sounds kind of like a downer.
No. It's all about finding yourself and realizing that it's okay to not be okay, and discovering who you really are.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just give yourself to everyone else. You have to take time to really find out who you are and what makes you happy.
So another movie we all watched this week that talked about all those same themes, or not, is The Social Dilemma, right? I mean, we have a little bit more time, so how did you guys feel about it?
Okay, it made me be like, I definitely need to be more conscious about the time I spend on my phone, because I do know I'll wake up in the morning and I'll take like an hour, and like I won't even realize that it's an hour, and I'll just be like looking through all the news feeds, checking up on my social media, and before I know it, oh shoot, the hour has gone by. But I'm going to start being more conscious about that and trying to go away from my algorithm.
Yeah, well, for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, The Social Dilemma is essentially a documentary that kind of tells, these are inside people, these are people from the tech industry, and essentially kind of tells about how like all these big companies, Google, Facebook, all of that, they're set up in a way that they reprogram us to want to give them their information, and like they kind of control like what we're doing,
right?
Yeah.
Like our actions.
Yeah, the commodity is not our data; it's really our time and how long we spend on the apps.
Yes,
is what they're like trying to accomplish the best way possible. I found an interesting argument in there, because we're always talking about like, when is AI going to run the world? When is robots going to run the world? But when they're talking about these algorithms that are predicting what you're going to click on, in my mind, I kind of thought about it like in a boardroom, like people are actually analyzing and kind of like grouping us, maybe into genres of people, and then that's how it was based on. But to think that the robot is so strong that it's like individually coming for me in a certain way, that it's literally just one algorithm per person,
essentially.
More or less.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Did you remember that part too, when the guy was saying, somebody on the show talked about like there's only like a handful of like engineers that kind of even have an understanding of what the algorithms are doing, but even then it's still kind of like, a lot of the times they're still not too sure how the algorithm is like deciding what they're deciding, which is fucking trippy.
Totally. So the algorithms are sitting here, or the AIs are watching like every single one of our behaviors. So how to make like a better judgment on a whole population of living species than by being able to watch and track their literal every move. And it's not other people and governments that are doing that. It's actually just these robots at this point.
The robots from Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Reddit, and we're giving them all this information. We're telling them, when they're like, we suggest you watch cat video when the cat eats a butterfly, and you're like, oh, awesome. And now they're going to be like, oh, good, we know she likes cat videos, she likes butterflies, okay, give her this ad about gardening. It's like,
well, the thing that's been bugging me is like, so it is like your phone does listen. If you have the YouTube app open and you're just having a conversation about something, you will see an ad about that thing. It's not a coincidence. Like, I was randomly talking about Dramamine, like the thing that you take for boat sickness. How often you talk about that or see ads about that? And we had like a pretty decent talk about it for like 10 minutes for random reasons. And then that night or the next day, there's a straight up Dramamine commercial. I'm like, what?
See, we talked about this before, and I told you, because I feel like there's been times where I think of something in my head,
You didn't even say it.
I didn't even say it. And I'll see like an advertisement for it on my laptop or something like that. And it's kind of, now that I saw that, it kind of makes a little bit more sense because like, again, it's an algorithm and like it's predicting things. So based on my past choices and decisions, it just kind of, I'm thinking that there's times where it kind of guesses, oh, well then maybe he'll like this. And it turns out, yeah, that is what I wanted.
It predicted it. It knows.
Like it knew before I knew.
It knows how often maybe I'm buying like cell phone chargers. Let's say that's something that you have to buy like for your iPhone every couple years. Every year you run out, you know? So it's like timing, like when to show me ads because it just knows in the past, like when I've made that purchase, you know? And it's like, oh, how did you know that right now is when I would normally need to re-up my whatever it is?
It's like every 9 months we know Jacob needs a new phone charger, so let's go ahead and put that in. And this algorithm is just constantly working. There's no one that's like, oh, let's go check in on you. But no, this algorithm is just doing it and it's fine-tuning and you're just giving it more information with all your clicks. And it knows when you're staring at your phone, what you're looking at, and for how long. And it's programmed to make you look at your phone for even longer, to make it more and more addictive.
Yeah, I was really happy. One guy at the end, the guy with the dreads.
Oh, I like him.
Jaron or something.
Something like that. And he was giving like recommendation. He just says never click on the, like never watch the recommended videos. Don't give them more. Just ignore the recommended videos. And I kind of already did that. Like I tend to not watch the recommended videos. Like I know what I want to watch for the most part. Now I think it's to the point where, like on YouTube, for example, I have set up like what I subscribe to, like the videos I watch, and I pretty much that's kind of what I stick to. You know what I mean? I kind of don't like veer off too far from that unless it's like I'm looking for something specific. You know.
See, I watch the recommended stuff because I will have like YouTube playing on my TV while I'm doing stuff, and it'll just automatically go to all these recommended videos after like 3 seconds.
So you know you're queuing up.
I'm a part of it. I mean, like it's mostly like music video stuff and pop culture news, but but it goes deeper and deeper into the wormhole.
Well, another weird thing that they talk about is how it like radicalizes people, you know, everything from like ISIS to these right-wing militia groups, you know, to even like Antifa, which is not a group, but, you know, left-wing violence or whatever, which does exist, is like people, you know, get this, they're not getting information because they want correct information. It's getting fed by an algorithm that wants you to click on something. It doesn't care. Like the algorithm isn't caring if it's true or not. It's just being highlighted.
It knows that you're likely to push that button.
And it doesn't know what's true or not. It doesn't even know. So like the one guy was saying, how can we program it to fact check when it doesn't know what a fact check is? And 6 out of like 1 in 6 or 6 out of 10, what was the number? Well, basically 6. Most of the news that they're putting out that people are looking at.
Oh yeah, the fake news
news.
And it just
it's way more popular.
It travels a lot faster than real news.
That was it. It was like people are 6 times more likely to see fake news than they are.
Or to click on. I remember that one stat or whatever.
And it was like,
faster.
wow. But you can see that because imagine if you're a conspiracy theory person, they know I spent all night last night looking into ancient aliens, for example, and they're like, this girl is conspiracy theorist nut. So what are they going to give me now? A story about how we never landed on the moon. Okay, it ties in. And I'm watching that, and now I'm watching something about how the whole election was fake. Hillary was never supposed to run. It's just all these crazy conspiracies. And I'm just like clicking and clicking and clicking because my mind has been open to conspiracies.
And
it's all real.
That part too, remember, Jacob, where that I was surprised. I had no idea that Google, when you search, and you know how it does like the autofill?
Yes.
That shocked the hell out of me. I thought everyone got the same autofill. I didn't realize it was based by location.
Based by your location.
Because that guy made a great point when he's talking about like, you know, when you see somebody that are believing in these things, you're kind of like, how do they not see the same things that I do? I thought like, but we don't get the same information.
I knew we were doing the same thing. I didn't realize it was based on location. I think it's based on location plus based on what you've typed in before. It's like a combination,
your
right?
Personal choices.
Right. So if you're more like typing in hoax, then you're gonna get the first thing hoax.
But my point is that it's really scary to me how easy it is for somebody to get stuck in that, you know, what they call the rabbit hole, you know what I mean? Like, and once you're there, you're there.
And that's all they keep feeding you, because you keep clicking it and they're going to keep giving you more.
Oh, the world's gonna fucking burn, dude.
Oh, like towards the end of that one, I was like, this is real bleak. And like you were saying earlier about self-regulation, these companies are like, we're going to regulate ourselves. Like,
You can't trust them.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg in that one like Congress hearing or whatever, he's like, so the answer is like we just build more AIs and they'll fix it or whatever.
I'm not as smart as Mark Zuckerberg, but even to me, that sounded like no. That did not sound
He
like
doesn't
a
seem like, I mean, he went to Harvard and stuff, but he didn't finish. He seems kind of like a doof. Like he created something and it's way crazier.
Well,
than
why did he
expected.
create it?
To get laid.
To get laid. You know what I mean? The original intention was to,
Right.
you know,
impress the ladies.
yeah, it was like a rating. I think it was like a rating thing to rate the girls at first, you know, and then
It just snowballed.
yeah.
Once you bring in monetization and like, oh, we got to keep making money, we got to keep making money, and if it doesn't meet the goals of making money, they're
think
not going
he's
to do
AI.
it. He might be. His eyes.
This whole mannerism.
You can tell but in his eyes, you can tell he's kind of like, oh crap, what is happening? I don't know how to stop
He
it.
definitely seems like a deer in headlights.
Because he was like, well, actually, I wouldn't say that, but
Yeah, they're like, do you think that Facebook influenced the election? He's like, I don't know.
he did not look like he was on top of it.
Well,
That's a bold statement. Something like that.
well, there's a lot of factors
Exactly.
that were involved in the election.
People voted.
He's starting to sound more and more like a politician, and that is not what we need. And even that part where they said, like, Mark Zuckerberg has these dials, where it's like, in Indonesia, we need more people to like birds, and
Right.
over here, we need more people
Yeah, they
to
target
hate,
it.
to hate the environment. Like, they can just turn these dials, and
See, that's why people talk about this, that a lot of these, like Twitter and Facebook, they have to be not renamed, but recategorized as media companies.
Right.
Like, because like news journalists, newspapers, magazines, they have to follow they're under certain strict guidelines that places like Facebook don't have to. But Facebook kind of controls what we see, what media, what news we get to watch. So the fact that they're kind of being like a conductor of that,
yeah.
they got to be under some kind of regulate. You know what I mean? You can't just let them just choose what they want,
And
because even though they don't write the material,
Of course not.
they're telling us which material to see. And obviously, they're going to put a focus on what benefits them the most in any given situation.
And they're going to show us whatever they're making the most money to show us. Not like, oh, this is good to know, the children here are starving. No, they're going to show Jan, these crazy Democrats are going to steal your kids, Jan. Like, oh, and Jan showing up at the PTA, like, the Democrats are evil, they're poisoning the water.
And she brings a gun to the PT.
And she brings a gun
It's serious.
because it's her right. They're turning the children into socialists.
Or selling them off to pedophile rings.
Oh yeah, the Pizzagate. Like, what?
I love that cop who's like, in regards to what?
Pizzagate, man. And they're like,
Yeah, and the cop is like, he's talking about Pizzagate.
they're in the basement. And there was no basement.
I actually watched, so there's a video of that guy on his car ride to do that on YouTube.
Oh,
That's
shit.
pretty entertaining.
He
Yeah.
probably thought like he was a real
Oh,
vigilante
he
for
is.
change.
No, so I guess he had 2 daughters and stuff, and and in the video he's just like, I need to do this for my children. I could never live with myself. You know, what side are you on? No. And just like brainwashed by this thing. And like, yes, there are pedophiles in the world. Yes.
Obviously.
And
But like, they just weren't at that pizza place, and that was like pretty clear to most people, I guess.
yes, there's real pedophiles, there's real child trafficking, human trafficking going on, but you aren't seeing that kind of outrage about the real stuff.
Well, that's the problem with the QAnon stuff. So first off, QAnon pretty much took the name Save the Children, which is a real organization that does good things for kids.
Right.
But they've been
They co-opted that.
they co-opted it as a disguise to, like, when they're when they're having their rallies, they have like Save the Children rallies.
Oh, goodness.
And it's a way to kind of get people that aren't aware. You see that, you hear that, and you don't know, if you don't know what QAnon is, you think, oh, this is a good thing. And of course, you hear about we want to get rid of the pedophiles, because who doesn't want to get rid of the
That's what
pedophiles?
we all want.
So like it kind of brings people in that normally wouldn't be in that kind of, that don't bother to look them up. The worst part about it, what sucks about them, is that it works in lies and a lot of misleading details, and it's actually pulling away resources and people's attention from like the real actual like victims, like the real problem with like real child sex rings,
Right.
real kids being abused and things like that, because they're thinking it's like a Hollywood elite thing, whatever, you know what I mean? And then the focus isn't on the real situation we should be focused on, because we're chasing a wild goose chase to this imaginary thing that,
And then they're giving money to QAnon. Who knows where that money's going?
All right, good talk, you guys. It was. I think we are at like an hour and 10 minutes.
yeah,
Okay.
about there, yeah.
Yeah.
This was pleasant.
It was very pleasant.
Thank you for having me.
So how do we close out the show?
I think that we'll just edit it as ending.